So once I've shown the school that I'm not just helpful to the students, but I'm actually not a drain on teachers, because it's easy for an outsider to come into a school and be seen as a, another person that the teacher has to talk to. Oh, talk to Johnny's tutor and his dad who lives in another house, and oh, and then there's the speech pathologist, and make sure Johnny needs the best, and poor teachers, like, already overworked in any institution of learning. I don't care if it's public or in private. Every teacher's overworked. Some are extremely type A multitaskers, and I don't even know how do you do that. So once the learning specialists find out that I'm helpful to the kids and can take some of the burden off of the teachers and can help I can also help parents feel better, because they realize, they feel like their kid is getting the thing, and they start to understand why the teachers are doing what they're doing, and perhaps that the teacher doesn't hate the child, which is sometimes kids come home and say, my teacher hates me, and the parent goes, well, why is that? And how are they supposed to know? And I'm in the school. So from a parent's point of view, I'm often sort of a spy. And from a teacher's point of view, I'm often sort of a buffer. And it's all for the good. It sounds kind of sneaky, but it's not. I mean, I'll tell anyone exactly what's going on in any of these realms, and that's what makes me valuable to a lot of the grown-ups in the kid's life. And it's extremely important that all the grown-ups in the kid's life our efforts are synchronized. And that's another thing that I can do that teachers don't have time to do. I can talk to parents and teachers and the child and help bridge the gaps between, like, what the parents think is going on and what the kid is saying is going on, especially if one of the kid's major coping skills is keeping all the adults guessing. That's so smart. Like, I can't tell that kid that's a bad child. That's a smart kid. It's like, well, I'll tell you this, and I'll tell you that, and I'll tell you that, and you'll all think the other person's handling it, and I can watch TV. That's a smart kid. That's a smart kid who's shooting himself in the foot.
Yeah. So you actually act as a liaison for the benefit of the kids.
I hope so. I try to. Because I only have 10 to 17 students at a time, I have the time. And so I feel like it's important. I kind of owe that to everyone. And closing the circle of care is what I call it. And I think I got that from something in grad school. But it's extremely important to me. Like, the kid needs, especially when you're trying to make painful change. If the kid's coping skills are avoidance or charm or any of these other things that really are harmful to someone who needs to learn some stuff to have a good life, they really need everyone to know what's going on, and sometimes a little guidance as to how to not let it push your buttons too. Because I have parents who are so scared that their kid is gonna suffer more because of this. And is it my fault? Is it the teacher's fault? Is it the kid? Is it the darn kid? Well, but I love the kid, and the kid, it's so much, and it's like they really deserve support, Like, they need someone to tell them, I'd be anxious too. This is really tough. It's going to be okay, I think, and here's why I think that. And just like with the kid, I have to present evidence that things are going to be okay. The parent, I need to do the same thing. I just tell them, oh, here's a nice story, And if I'm looking at for instance, if I'm looking at a learning difference that doesn't seem to be changing, I need to be able to tell the parent that, and also tell them that this happens and people are happy. There are ways to self-advocate. There are ways to go to the teachers proactively at the beginning of the school year so that they know that this student has this struggle and is working on it, because often it's invisible. It's invisible until they think the kid's just not good at it, or that kid doesn't care.
Is the only way that you communicate with parents and teachers verbal, or do you sometimes do something in writing?
So the banes of my existence is that I tend to write email as if I were a novelist or I really want to express all aspects, and so I can get into, everyone knows about this, you just email for work, you get into an email hole, and it's like, I have a 3-hour break between these two students, I have time to really get this email done, I'll probably get it done in 15-20 minutes, and then I'll be on to my, I'll get a break, I'll actually go to the gym or something, And I end up spending the 3 hours writing the email. It's really good. So and part of that is, the important part of that is that becomes something that parents can give to teachers without having to buttonhole them in the hall. It's written in professional, circumspect language that doesn't blame, because that's not useful. So parents are like, yes, you described my kid. I'm giving this to the teacher, and the teacher can be insanely busy and read it when they have time. And so it's worth it to spend that much time on those. The guideline in the practice is for every hour of tutoring, you've earned 5 minutes of free talk, whether that's me in conference with a teacher or on a phone conference with you or whatever. There was one client in the years I've been doing this for whom I considered starting to monitor that, because every single week she wanted to check in for as long as I was tutoring, and that was tough. But she was dealing with a lot of anxiety, and it's okay. She set the bar for that end of the thing. But so that's the guideline. I'll talk about what we did each hour that we teach, or talk for 45 minutes. Most parents want to talk to me every month or two on the phone for 15, 20, 30 minutes. And when there's major progress or a red flag of some kind, if I see something that's coming up that the student is really struggling with it, they need more help than I'm able to give in the 1 hour or the 2 hours that I see them, I want to make sure and contact them right away. So I generally email. And that's one other highlight of my job, is the positive